It's like the same concept as everything happens for a reason.
For sure. And everything happens for a reason is a real thing because our perception of reality is super powerful. Like, if you believe something thoroughly, it can become your reality.
You can manifest that shit.
Literally. And it's not some, like, woo-woo thing where it's like, oh, manifest and the universe goes your way. It's like, no,
You have to manifest it in your head and then work towards it.
I'm talking in so much more, like, physical sense where we're literally filters. And we can genetically manipulate our perception of reality by thoroughly believing in something. That's one of the most powerful things with consciousness and imagination, is having the ability to take your reality and start seeing, like, what you believe is going to be real. And now there's a spectrum there. There's a slippery slope. You can be delusional and start believing you can fly.
You're fucking Superman.
You jump off a building and die or something. But I more mean, like, for years I told people, hey, someday Paramount Studios, I'm going to have this big studio with a whole crew of people, and it's going to be a place where other artists can come and we can learn together.
Well, I think that's kind of what I meant. Like, you can manifest it in your head, and then you can create that path that you follow to get there.
I agree with that 100%.
It's like you create these goals. You're like, this is something I can see us doing. This is something I can see myself doing. And then, like, how do I get there?
What? That sounds crazy.
Sounds like a very angry bee.
Yeah, I haven't smoked that one in a while. Whoa. Whoa, what's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 141 of the podcast. Today is a special one because it's our 4-year anniversary. I can't believe that 4 years ago, February 2020, we started this podcast. We started it with all this excitement about traveling to Hawaii for the first time to do a show. Me and my wife Cassandra here, we're so hyped up. The first 3 or 4 episodes, all I'm talking about is how I can't wait to go to Hawaii. And then, the old pandy happened and definitely changed some things. But that gave us an opportunity to change the ideas and direction of the podcast, Bear Mountain Studios, everything. So with great change, sometimes you can, work it and find a way to find success out of that change. So on today's episode, we got the boss lady, my best friend in the whole entire world, my absolute favorite person, the prettiest girl I know, my wife Cassandra. I wanted to have her on today because, to me, I feel like we just kind of like redid the podcast studio area, and like it's our 4-year anniversary, and like I really want my podcast to be like, I would like more people on it with me talking to me, because you guys have heard me talk for 4 years by myself pretty much. And I'd like to have more people on here. So I thought the first episode, let's have Cass on here too. So we can just talk about Bear Mountain a little bit, because like you guys have heard my perspective on a lot of different things, but I'd love to just like have a conversation with the boss lady and talk about some stuff. And that way too, when I'm smoking some hash, I have someone here to keep me company. I'm not just like, well, we got Ijah here. Always got our boy, the producer Ijah here. But he's running the 1s and 2s back there, so he can't be like communicating with me. So I have someone here with me today, which I'm super stoked. Some things coming up for Bear Mountain. We have a Sunday sale coming up February 18th. It's going to be on bmsglass.com. Sign up for our newsletter there so you can get all those updates on our drops. And watch my feed, because we're doing clear drops in stores around the country and world right now. Yeah. We just did one at the Cave. We have one coming up Saturday the 10th, which this podcast drops the 11th, so it will have already happened. But we're going to have a drop over at the Vape Loft. And then I think the next drop coming up is maybe Art Dogs or something like that.
Art Dogs and Grace.
Yep, and I'll keep announcing these as we're going. So like majority of our clear glass this year, we're kind of like dropping it in stores and then keeping most of our colored work to the website with some clear and colored work on the website. But we're trying to kind of like spread out the glass a little bit more, because realistically, if like I want to generate new and more collectors, social media is kind of weird nowadays. You don't have the reach or connection you did. It was as easy as you did years ago when the algorithms were a bit different. But I'm not going to let that be an excuse of why things, maybe we don't reach as much customers. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we're putting some of our glass in certain stores to make sure that those grassroots customers, the ones that like to go to brick and mortar stores, the ones that don't really use social media anymore, they can still see the glass. We have representation there. And also too, with so many different brands recreating their version of the RBR or stuff that's like Bear Mountain Studios, if that's the only representation in the shops and maybe they don't do it exactly like me, then that's not the best representation for an RVR. So I want to make sure some of my work is in stores so people can see and feel the real function of what I'm trying to produce and maybe not someone else's interpretation of my work. So we're doing that to make sure we can connect with new customers, also make sure that glass is there for people to see and experience, because if I just rely on Instagram, to me, it's a slow death. I want to make sure that we're constantly changing and connecting with people. Hey, that's just what it is. But yeah, so...
I feel like a lot of people are also not using social media as much.
Oh, I agree.
I think a lot of people are taking breaks from it. It can be overwhelming, and I think that it can be a little toxic at times. So I've noticed a lot of people are shifting away from social media.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it's just unrealistic. Like, I think, like, even me with social media, like, I'll take, like, 6 or 7 dab videos of One Piece before I post one, because I'm like, oh, I didn't like this angle, or it went out of focus, or like everything's got to be perfect.
Right.
Because I don't want that like one comment to dissect it and be like, oh, this was cool, but
there's
like,
gonna be those comments regardless.
I know, but I like to give as much.
At least like wean out as many of them as possible.
Exactly. Give as much effort as possible to mitigate the chance of someone someone seeing that I suck. You know what I mean? Like,
also, I had no idea that today was the 4-year anniversary of the podcast.
Yeah, I did. I did.
I had no idea.
I did. To me, it's like, it's crazy because to do something for 4 years, anything for 4 years.
Has it really been 4 years?
Like, you guys remember high school? Wasn't high school the longest time of your life? Like, and that was 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. Well, I guess high school isn't technically really 4 years, is it? It's like 3. But when you're from a small town, how many is it?
It's 4 years.
Okay, well, I don't know. I left in 10th grade.
It's absolutely 4 years.
Okay, that's like, you just looked at me like, how do you not know? Like, come on. I wasn't even there.
Okay.
Okay, but seriously, is middle school considered high school now? I'm concerned.
No. High school, what?
So high school's 9th to 12th.
Middle school, is middle school considered high school? No, middle school would be considered middle school.
Okay, so what's middle school? What grades?
I think it depends on the school.
Here's where this is
what
I'm saying.
This is where it gets tricky.
This is what I'm saying.
So where I went to school, elementary school was K through 3rd, and then middle school was 4th through 8th grade.
My town was so small we didn't have middle school.
Really?
Yeah, it was 6th through 12th grade was high school.
I must have known that.
Or no, 7 to 12 was high school, and then kindergarten to 6th was
Was there like a
elementary.
separate like wing for 7th and 8th grade?
7th and 8th grade were like upstairs, and the big kids were downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, I made it downstairs for I think like 2 months before I was out of there, dude. I didn't last long. High school was tough though. It's not. I didn't leave because of like academic reasons though. I left because of just
high school
social reasons. But I've talked about that on here before. But yeah, fucking Glass Vegas just happened. After seeing everyone there and like hanging out and having fun, I was like, fuck, I wish Bear Mountain was able to be there and see everybody.
Totally.
It's like anytime these Glass events come around, I always feel like kind of like, fuck, all my friends went to the party and I didn't go. They all went to the playground to play, but I didn't. It's like
we're just here working.
We have so
It happens like so. The events seem to happen so fast or come up on us so quickly that we're
not ready.
Oh, it's happening in a week. What? We don't have time to get ready for something like that.
Yeah, but I hope to someday be more a part of those. It's just like I feel like we have so many goals and like we always bite off a little bit more than we can chew. We say yes to a lot of shit. And when you
say yes to a lot of shit.
I say yes to a lot of shit. When I say yes to something, that means I'm sleeping less. And then there's like eventually you start running out of hours in the day. You're like, oh my God, like I have to sleep for at least 3 hours a night. That means I got, this many hours to fucking create, and you have to eat, and then you gotta see your family.
Yeah. Eating is the most like useless. Like, it's such a waste of time.
But it keeps you alive.
It does. And then I love eating. Like, I love food, but like, I wish that we didn't always have to do it. I feel like that about sleep. Which was more of a choice.
I wish I didn't have to sleep. If I didn't have to sleep, I'd be fine if my family slept, because then I could I used to love crushing at night, and you and Estelle would just be inside sleeping, and I'd be out there crushing, and
I didn't love that.
And you guys are just all comfy in there. I'd feel so good, like, damn, dude, like I'm up all night crushing. My family's comfy, like I'm just in my zone. It was awesome. Like, but I like that. You were
so like sleep deprived though that you were not as present during the day because you'd be so exhausted from working all night.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't there. I'd fall asleep like at dinner.
Yeah, you'd fall asleep as soon as you sat down anywhere. You would be asleep. It was like the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I got a lot done. It was crazy. Yeah, we definitely have made a lot of sacrifices to get to this point, especially you and Estelle. It's a lot
I
of
think
things.
we've all made equal sacrifices.
I just think that like on Instagram, a lot of times people just see like me like posting a silly dad video or me just crushing all these hours or being in here super early or late or whatever the circumstances are, and then there's like leaves a lot of room for people to assume and to fill the rest of the story.
Yeah,
And I feel
absolutely. And I think because like you don't want to be a broken record and repeat all these things, like you're having like things are challenging because things are challenging for everybody.
Yeah.
I thought I lost where I was going.
No, but I agree. Like I don't want to sit there and just go on Instagram and be like a little like sensitive Sally whining all day and
Well,
feeling
yeah, and
bad
then
for
as you're
myself.
getting new followers, they don't really know the background story.
For sure, that's one big thing that's happened with moving into this new space. Is since we moved in here, I've gotten maybe like 10,000 new followers or something like that since we moved into the space in the last year, and a lot of those people have no idea of the early grind of like being in the fucking garage till 4 or 5 in the morning, 7 nights a week, just like
Exactly, and then they don't
crushing.
understand the whole background of Bear Mountain and like where we started. That it was just you and I and like your parents' basement, or
yeah,
their
like
bedroom,
hand
like,
spinning
you
like
know?
100 pieces for a drop, like things that no one's ever done.
Yeah.
Like in this industry.
And now
like,
they just see this beautiful space and like
all these
it's not like it
tools
just
and-
happened. Like
Yeah.
it was so much work to get here.
It was fucking crazy amount of work to get here, and it's so much work to maintain it because there's like fucking 4 or 5 people that are here with me all day.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's 4 or 5 families, people with kids, wives, homes. Like
Yeah.
everybody relies. Like we have this whole like group
It's
of
all
people.
up to you.
That's
It's so
fair.
true though.
It's so scary.
It
but
is.
but realistically, like in the future, I think that even if one part of it's all up to me, I think what's happening now with Bear Mountain is everyone's really stepping up to the plate and like
Totally.
wanting to help me to reduce the amount.
And that's why we can finally start offering wholesale.
They're trying to get me to sleep more. They're figuring it out for me.
Yeah,
they're
it's
like
great.
if we help Evan with this, he can sleep more. But also too, what's happening is I think I'm still working just as hard, but I'm like finding more time to pursue art projects that like I have not been able to do.
And that's kind of what it is. It's like finding a way to like not have it's not really like having more time, but it's like being able to manage your time better.
Yeah.
And so you're not wasting time. Now you're able to spend, instead of being exhausted all day, now you can maybe spend more time on the podcast or
Exactly.
other side projects.
Yeah, because like I have all these like passion projects all the way through glass. Like I blow glass all day, and still I'm like get home and I'm like, God, I wish I had
Like,
time.
I
like
wish
this.
and you've been saying this since you started blowing glass.
Yeah.
Someday I'm gonna have enough time to do these projects. I know
Someday
that
I'll
your
have the
goal is to
tools.
have like yeah.
Someday I'll have the skill. Like pretty much all I'm doing is trying to accumulate all the parts I need to pursue these ideas I have in my mind that I'm not even really. I could probably pursue a handful of them now, but there's still certain things I've thought about that I'm like, I'm not skilled enough yet. It just ain't there yet. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy that we're still like blowing glass every day. It's crazy to me that like I come in here and like all these guys like clock in or are here and like everyone's like crushing. Like even when we have guest artists here, they see all the guys and me crushing and they're like, I've like not been to a studio like this where like everyone
Because
is,
we're
like,
trying to make it a real business, or I feel like a lot of glass blowers or pipe artists are, and it's like no offense, it's just most people take the path of like it's this chill lifestyle. You create art, you go to the festivals, the shows, and you network and you meet people.
Well, I guess it's all in what you get into it for, right?
Right.
Some people get into it so like, hey, I want to work when I want to work. I want to make when I feel creative. I want to be able to sell it, and then I want to be able to follow my favorite band or whatever you want to pursue.
Totally.
Us, I love.
It's like we wanted to, like, we loved all of the culture around glass, but we wanted to be able to create a legitimate business.
We like building forts, like tree forts and stuff.
I mean, we literally did that when we started
I'm
dating.
telling you, that's what this is. This is like a fucking tree fort. Like we're playing Sims. We're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. We're like working hard to
It's like
save
getting
up
all
money,
the little pieces, and it's like, okay, I can
build it.
finally get that little part too.
So like I love the
add
art,
on,
but
yeah.
I love building the business end of it too. Like
totally.
I love the tools and like I love learning new skills and I love the feeling of pride when I walk into the space and see all the beautiful equipment and I see all the color and I'm just like, fuck, this is so cool. Like this is fucking crazy that I get to do this every day. Because I remember getting up at the same time, like 5:30 in the morning to go work at like Kurt's and just fucking
Doing
do
landscaping
all day.
Yeah, that was rough.
Like that was brutal. Like this shit is like so awesome. It's so much more fun. Like of course there's days where we're like, fuck, I don't want to. Like, you question yourself, you feel overwhelmed, but overall, like, this is so much better. And like, look at this. Now we're like sitting in here in a little podcast room. We're at
I know, and look how much nicer it is. Like, I hope you guys enjoy the time and work we put into making this a little bit better.
A little bit easier to look at.
It was like I've been trying to get caught up on the podcast and Patreon and all of these, like Evan said, like side passion projects. And every time I look at them, I'm like, this is so dull.
I know. We're fixing it though.
And it looks so much better now. So if you guys have any input and want to let us know what else you think we should add, leave it in the comments so we can keep getting this better.
Some of the art on the wall, like this is from my boy Tristan right here.
Yeah.
Professor Unknown, John, Eddie, and Tristan have just huge supporters of Bear Mountain Studios, and they're
so awesome. I love
They came to our Patreon session, like when the session was like ending or whatever. It was like at the tail end of it, a lot of people were already gone. It was over already.
I was also bummed I didn't get to spend
more time
talking to them. I felt like that was a lot of people.
I felt like that was a lot of people too. So there were so many people.
Working. I was.
We almost need to hire a team to work the events so we can just enjoy them with everybody.
That's a great idea.
You know
I love that idea.
Like, so we can just enjoy the events with everybody. And speaking of, we need to do another fucking event.
Well, we'll do another Patreon event. I think that's definitely something we'll do at least once a year. It's just do an in-person sesh just for our Patreon members, the people that really are like our hardcore supporters.
Definitely.
Because it was super fun. It was chill.
And it's only $5 to be a hardcore supporter.
It is only $5 to be a hardcore supporter.
It's a lot less expensive than buying any of my glass. So,
and hopefully we'll be able to get some new perks and new benefits to the Patreon this year. I think we're going to start doing I'm
going to start doing my lives in this room too, guys, so that like when I'm doing a live video or I'm doing a drop, I can almost have like a glass QVC going in here where I'm pulling up pieces and showing them. So I'm going to work on that so that, it's just easier for people to see the stuff. Because really that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, I think a lot of artists have people that would love to support their work, but it's difficult for them to be able to see it. Like, because whether they just use one, either use Facebook or Instagram or whatever app they use, if they're just relying on one or two platforms, you're not going to it's going to be harder to catch people.
I honestly can't believe the amount I miss just from your feed. Like,
I know, my wife doesn't even see half my posts. Well, my shit's shadow banned as fuck because they're like, this guy's doing drugs on the internet. So,
but it's so hard. That's why we do the newsletter, we do the podcast, we do Patreon.
We're trying so hard to connect with you guys.
Literally try to do everything we can. And it's definitely not easy, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Like, to me as a kid, I grew up me and my friends had video cameras and we made skate videos. We made our own versions of CKY and stupid
I would love to
pranks.
come across it though someday.
I wish I could find them.
I bet they're in our storage unit somewhere. Maybe.
I don't know. Some of them are probably so old. I don't even know where they'd be. They'd be in other friends' houses. But we used to make lots of skate videos and stuff. And when I'm doing the podcast, when I first started that's exactly how I felt about it. I was so excited to do it because I'm oh, this reminds me I loved making videos with my friends when we were skating. We'd make prank videos, whatever. This is the same kind of thing. And glass blowing's skateboarding to me. So basically I found that whole feeling I wanted. I thought it was going to be skateboarding, but
agreed. I do too.
It ended up being glass related, which is really cool. I don't know. It's wild how you can kind of find something.
Glass wasn't even a thing we even thought about when we were skateboarding.
Not at all. It was only skateboarding. It's so crazy how things change, how much has changed. Me and you got together when we were 15 years old, high school, little babes.
18 years.
It's fucking crazy.
It's been a long time.
It's just wild to think. I don't even think glass. I don't think this pipe would even exist if I didn't find you on MySpace.
Maybe. I mean, I was the one that signed you up for the classes at Corning. You were really interested in glass at the time. You were working at a head shop, and I was like, let's see if we can do something with this. Yeah. Because we would literally just go in there
and stare at pipes all day.
We would not only would we stare at all the pipes all day, you would be working, and then I would just kind of hang out in the lounge and get you lunch, and how did I have so much time? But then we would find our favorite pieces, or ooh, this is a new one. And then we would water test all of them, and then we would make all the customers water test them with us, even though I didn't even work there. It was just fun.
Yeah, Cass would just hang out at the head shop with me, because we had other jobs too. I just worked there for a discount and to be around glass.
Yeah.
Because we were we're spending a lot of money on pipes.
I don't know what I was doing at that time.
Lord and Taylor, maybe?
Was I working at NARS?
I think so.
Yeah, and then
No, maybe it was pre.
No, because I signed us up for the classes while I was working at NARS.
Yeah.
So, so I was a manager of NARS, the cosmetic line, and then I got us signed up for some very intro glassblowing classes at Corning, and yeah, it just kind of, it felt like right, you know? It just felt right. I remember going there on like the weekends where you could pay for like extra time on the torch.
Yeah.
And you would get in there and you'd start like mashing things together to make something that we could smoke later that night.
Yeah.
And it'd be
and I had to do it like
whistling
secretly.
like crazy. Yeah,
Well,
and we weren't really supposed to be doing that.
Yeah, like I'd have to like basically turn my back to the window and stuff where people would be viewing. Like they can't know I'm making paraphernalia so I can smoke it later.
So no one really taught you. Like right from the beginning, you were like, I'm gonna find a way to make something I can fucking get high through.
I played with a lot of Connects and Legos as a kid, so to me it like made sense. I did welding in high school for the little time I was there.
You were drawing functional pieces before you could ever blow glass.
That's so trippy. It's so crazy to be here. Like if I could show myself like 10, 11 years ago before I was even blowing glass, or 12 years ago.
It's gonna be okay, bud.
Yeah, but, like check this out. Like, cause like being like a high school dropout and like seeing my friends that all graduated, they all had things going on. Like I had like this beautiful person with me that I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you have to, this girl's gonna leave you if you don't figure some shit out. Like, there's like...
I don't know what was wrong with me.
It was just such a stressful time. I like, feel like I didn't know who I was, like, trying to find myself and stuff. And, like, glass gave me so much purpose. And, like, it gave me so much discipline and focus and gratitude. I mean, what I've learned from it, it's truly, it's like, I wish everyone could find whatever they need to do to, like, learn those lessons on their own, because sometimes I feel like people either read books, they listen to elders, they get into religions, whatever it is to find purpose and meaning. Mm-hmm. But it's like I found it through just like hard work and working with my hands and having a goal and trying to achieve it. It's almost like through, you know, like having discipline, I like found a way to like have more gratitude for life and be more appreciative. I don't know.
Because you've had to work really hard for everything that you have.
I never had any of the big dudes post my shit and be like, this is my bro, this is my little cuz.
If anything,
like,
it would just be the opposite.
The opposite. If
like,
anything,
no one took us seriously.
No.
No one wanted anything
like,
to do with
it's
us.
so trippy, some of the people that reach out to me now, and I'm like, dude, you wouldn't even give me the time of day a few years ago. Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
Like, and I'm respectful to everyone. I'm grateful that people reach out. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go, let's do some work. But it's more of me just, like, having gratitude also takes the ability to recognize where you were and where you are now. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's part of the process is going, hey, here's a scenario that wouldn't have happened a few years ago, but for some reason now this person's looking for you.
Sometimes I feel like we almost like walk through like a little time blip, right? Like it's like, how did we get here? Like, how, like
that's
what
hash.
Is going? Is that what that
that's
is?
hash. The time blip was hash. The hash. Yeah. But I agree with that.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember much when we first moved here.
We were smoking so much weed when we first moved here. Before we had a kid and stuff, like we were like, my God, I mean,
it was too much.
It was too much.
I think about it now and I'm like, how did we get anything done?
I didn't make that much glass back in the day. Like, it really...
It was a lot for us then, though.
It was so hard for me to finish a piece back in the day, though. Like, it would take me a whole day to make, like, one thing.
Yeah. Do you remember when when you did the collab with Sven?
Yeah.
And that one piece took, like...
9 days.
Almost 2 weeks.
It's crazy.
That was insane.
Yeah, but then Sven was like, dude... let's go skateboard with Yushin, because Sven and Yushin are old buddies.
Yeah.
And I got to go to a skate park and skateboard with Yushin.
So it's worth those like 2 weeks.
In like 2014, dude. Like 2014, I'd only been blowing glass for like
1 year.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
I had my torch for a year. Barely. But regardless, I'm skateboarding with Yushin and going out to dinner with him. So I was like, I didn't care how long the piece took. I was like, isn't that funny? Even then, only a year and a half in or so, and I was already...
You met Yushin in 2014, is that what you said?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, no.
Yeah. It was summer.
We moved to Colorado in June of 2014.
Maybe it was summer 2015.
No, because then we would have been in the Springs.
No, so it had to have been...
This is what happens when you smoke too much hash. You can't remember anything.
Well, either way, the opportunity... It's just funny how then I was so focused that even like... I was stressed that a piece took 9 days. Like, yeah. I was like, I've been crazy forever.
Well, we moved across the country to a incredibly expensive house for us.
Everybody's poor.
And we were like, oh God, how are we going to pay our fucking bills?
Oh my God, it's so crazy. I can't believe we're here.
It's pretty nuts.
There's been so many things that have happened that we should have been stopped in our tracks and been like, I guess we got to quit trying to be glassblowers.
No, but we just don't. We just keep going. We find a way to work through it.
Maybe that's the beautiful thing about not being just too smart. Because if I was really smart, I probably would have like rationalized quitting by now. But I'm like too prideful and kind of dumb, so I just go for it. And sometimes I land a trick. And if you try enough times, it's like that that song, like, if you're gonna be, what's it, dumb, you gotta be tough or something like that.
I don't know.
I
have like zero relevance of like songs.
Tough. Yeah.
Actors, actresses,
the point
musicians,
is if you're going to try difficult things and try it over and over again, you got to be tough because you got to realize you're going to fail a bunch of times and it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So if you...
It's not been easy. It's definitely not been an easy path, but I think it's been worth it.
I think that people get a weird perception of Bear Mountain sometimes, though, because I am very transparent and I share a lot, but there's so many videos that are saved as drafts on my phone that I've never posted that are very personal about like me being real with people. And I don't share them because I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna look like a little baby, like whining. Everybody's going through shit, so I try to just keep it. I try to keep it positive. But if you're like that all the time, then people get a perception that like, oh, this is just easy. For
Everything's
them.
easy. It's all been handed to them.
Yeah.
And that's not the case.
They've been given that, and it's like, dude, the things I've had to do, the deprivations of the sleeps that I've hit, like, I had like a 2-year period where I was convinced I was schizophrenic. I was like, okay, like I'm a functional crazy person.
I remember that.
Like, and I was getting really angry because I was like, dude, I'm so pissed that I'm crazy. Like, this sucks. Like,
I think it's just like lack of sleep and way too much hash.
Yeah, something, and high stress. Like,
yeah,
whatever it was.
Just like not enough self-care.
Yeah, I was pushing myself to the limits. Like, I got that like infection on my foot from that burn, and then just fucking couldn't even stand.
It just, and now you can't stand because your heels hurt so bad.
But that's just from standing so much on concrete. That's just, you know.
I feel like it's just as bad.
Yeah, well, it's different now, though. I, like, work out and eat better and, like, drink more water.
You're still in an incredible amount of pain every day.
Yeah, but that builds character. Character building exercise.
Sure.
Don't look at me when I'm moving then. Like, don't watch me suffer. Just look away.
It's so irritating.
Just look away. Just look away from the suffering.
Like just go
as I hobble
see
away,
someone and fix that.
As I limp away out of the bed in the morning at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'll like your alarm will go off. Like this morning, your alarm went off, and it kept going off.
Sorry, I was
and
so
it kept
fucking
going
tired.
off, and I was like, Evan, your alarm, please turn it off. It's like 4 a.m.
I heard nothing.
And then you'll like hobble out of the room because your heel hurts so bad, and I just like roll my eyes and go back to bed.
Like this fucking guy.
That's
why I love you so much.
Out of control.
That's why I love you so much. Like, oh, it's so good, man. It's beautiful. What a nice podcast with you, Cass. Just here on a.
I actually didn't even know we were getting started when we were getting started.
Oh, we're just chilling. We're just sharing the new space. Celebrating the 4-year anniversary of this passion project I've been playing around with
honestly nuts.
Ijah, and thank you for like supporting this because I know it's a big investment and it's something that I just want to do and you go along with it. And
I just kind of go along with most things. So not always.
I appreciate you trusting me though that like or just at least this investment like wanting like letting me just like not like letting but like being cool with it like not being like you're just like spending money.
I didn't give you permission.
I know you didn't, but like you support it is more my point. Like I'm still
I think that I'm down. Like I support anything if it's gonna create growth and benefit our business and. I don't know. Like, I think it's always good to keep pursuing your ideas and dreams, and because you never know what opportunities will come when you try new things, or who will stumble upon something, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I hope that like someday like I'm able to like.
It doesn't hurt to ever try something new.
Oh yeah.
Even though you've been trying this for 4 years.
Yeah, but the thing with Glass is like the greatest video game ever. There's no ceiling. Like every day, like I'm gonna try something new today. Like, there's so much new shit, and I'm having, like, artists that I look up to, people that are literally major artists in the industry come here that want to just, like, show me technique and teach me stuff. I'm like, let's go, dude. Like,
you're like, for real? Like, what is happening?
I'm like, I feel like I'm in this, like, Glass dojo, and I'm, like, have, like, these masters coming in and just training me in my space, and, also, the people I've had come in here have told me, like, how nice the studio is, and these are coming from people that are 20 years in.
I also think we're, like, absolutely crazy in the sense where, like, when we do things, we go way hard, like, way too hard. Like, we do so much more than any normal yeah, it's a little bit over the top and annoying.
Hard. Yeah, but that's my personality. Like, I have, like, growing up, we had friends that were annoying, we had friends that were mean. Nowadays, everyone wants their friends to be exactly like them and the same. Like, I think that having the annoying person that's, like, trying too hard and having the dude that's overcritical and maybe picks on you a little bit, all of these, like, shades
personalities, like, it's like when we were kids, you had those group of friends, and, like, each person created that amazing
That's our
group
studio
of friends.
now. Like, each guy out there has a different... I don't have a fucking echo chamber of a bunch of little Evans out there.
No, definitely
I have
not.
assholes. I have sensitive people. I have fucking...
I don't think anybody could be like you.
Yeah. Well, I'm legitimately still might be crazy. I don't even know. But
I think we're all a little bit crazy.
For sure, but to what end of the spectrum? I think that I'm productive crazy. Honestly, I think that I wish that I didn't have to be the boss or any sort of leader position. I really wish I could just be, like, the right-hand man, because I think I'd make a great teammate. But, like, as far as, like, the person driving the ship, I'm terrified.
But that's honestly, like, exactly how Estelle is, right? Like, I was explaining to someone recently how she has these, like, ridiculously big ideas for a 5-year-old, where she, every week it's something new. You know, she wants to have her own makeup business, and she wants to have all these customers, and she's downstairs in her little art corner coming up with piles of invitations for God knows who.
She's making advertisement
for people
stuff.
to come get their makeup done at her business.
I'm like, you're such a little boss.
It's so hard to explain to a 5-year-old that you are 5, and I want to help you do the things that you love, but it's not appropriate for your age right now. And she's so devastated. And I was trying to explain this to somebody because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I want to support her no matter what she wants to do, but she's 5. And somebody looked at me and she was like, if you can harness this as she gets older, she's going to be the most amazing leader. And I feel like she gets that from you, where you're like, you are an amazing leader.
Oh, no. But I try really hard.
I think that's what makes an amazing leader, though. Like, the person that always gets, like, put in that leadership position never really wants to be the leader.
Oh, true.
But, like, that's the person that qualifies that people want to look up to.
So, we've been doing this for, like, about 30 minutes now.
Really?
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, before we keep going on tangents and everything about other shit... you are the person that does all our customer service and everything. Like, what is there a couple of things that, like, would be easier for you to express, like, saying, like, to, like, customers than it is in email? Like, what's, like, one thing that's maybe, like, the hardest part about your job that, like, or maybe what people don't understand, like, that, like, everything you're doing, like, you're trying so hard. Like,
I try very hard, and I think that for me it's really, like, time.
Yeah.
Time is my biggest enemy, because I'm the person that does all of our grocery shopping, our laundry. I bring our daughter to school every day. I pick her up every day. Like, I get her ready in the morning. Like, I bring her to the extracurriculars. I'm the one that does our taxes and pays our bills. And this guy doesn't even know how to check our bank account.
Gives the cat his insulin.
And I give the cat the insulin, and I make the dogs homemade fucking food. And, like, it's like I'm so overwhelmed where, like, I want to do a good job at everything, and it's like I don't have enough time to respond to everybody as quickly as I would want to in emails. And it's not because I'm ignoring anybody, or, like, I don't think
we don't ignore emails.
It's like it's so important to me, and I think that sometimes people probably don't realize how important it is to me. Where I get overwhelmed, where I'm like, I'm not able to get my work done, and I also want to make sure I'm taking care of my family and my animals and myself, and it's like a really hard balance.
Yeah, we are trying to find Cass some help now with administrative stuff. We need to find someone to help Cass. Cass still wants to do all of our customer service.
I also do, like, all of our photos. I run our website. I do the Patreon.
It's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many things that you couldn't even say.
There's a million things that I do for the business. Ivan blows glass.
I blow glass and make content for the internet.
And I do all the other little things in between.
But those little things are literally the foundation to the few big bricks that I make. You know what I mean?
It's kind of, like, scary for me, like, handing over those jobs, because I want to make sure they're all done in a way where our customers are going to be happy. Yeah. And I feel like if I give some of these jobs to other people, I'm still going to be overseeing everything. So it's like, why even bother? Because I'm still going to spend all the time looking at everything before it's sent to a customer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but
it's
if it takes you 10, 15 minutes to type something up to someone, and if you have to do that 50, 60 times a day, that adds up. So having someone typing it for you, even though you're reviewing everything and making sure it's like how your response,
maybe,
like,
yeah.
I think that it's more of like you have to look at it like compounding, like on like little pieces.
And but I like doing the customer service. Like I like knowing what's going on with the business. I like knowing if there's an issue with a customer. Like I want to be aware of all those things.
Yeah.
So that I have control to make sure that the customer in the end is going to be satisfied and happy with the product, the brand, and their experience.
100%.
So I think that there are a few jobs that I could give over, which would be like the photography. But like I don't know if I really want to give up the customer service end of
I think
things.
you could do it, but I think someone needs to be. You also print all the shipping labels, so someone needs to.
I know.
We have to help you have less. But so that's good. So we made big picture.
And I also sometimes feel like I'm not able to pursue my own passions because I'm spending so much time just making sure Bear Mountain stays afloat.
Wait, you're not passionate about emailing people?
I mean, I am, but it's like with glass. Like you have a passion for glass. Like I like my job and I love our brand and everything we've built, but I still have I'm like a scattered person. Like I have a million things I want to accomplish in my lifetime that I know I'm not going to be able to accomplish.
Stop it. Not going to be accomplished? What's that even mean?
Yeah.
How do you know so much? How do you know how long you're going to live?
Because I'm so, yeah, you're right.
How do you know what you're going to accomplish? That's crazy you know that much. I don't know shit. I don't know what I'm going to do. I made a head. I didn't make the head, but I put the head on there.
You put a head on there, yeah.
I made the...
Taffy made the head, and it looks fantastic.
But like, you can't... You have to, in the healthiest, most positive way possible, have a little less expectations and don't think.
I feel like if I lower the expectations, though, then like things aren't going to get done.
That doesn't have to lower quality. That lowering expectations doesn't have to lower quality. That can be two totally separate things. Expectations, as far as like everything. This is what my reality should look like if I do X, Y, Z. Your reality, there's no guarantee reality will look like anything like it's going to look like. It's just not how it works. Like you just have to go with the flow. And I think that...
I mean, I'm trying. I always have, like, such a long list of things that I want to do in a day, and then I never complete that list.
I told you, the other day I had this, like, fantasy about you being, like, bored at, like, 9:30 in the morning, like, not knowing what to do with yourself. Like, the house is clean. You're just kind of like, so what do I do?
That would be nice. I don't think that's happened in
No, that's why it's one of my
incredible
fantasies. Like, people are like, Evan, what do you fantasize about? I'm like, oh, my wife being thoroughly bored at 9:30 on a weekday. Daughter's at school all day to herself. What will she do?
That sounds amazing. I wish.
Dreams.
But that's not...
What dreams are made of?
That's not really, like, reality.
And then I'm just here, like, raging hash and just making crazy pipe.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I definitely need some help at somewhere.
We're going to find you help.
Yeah.
We're going to find you some help for sure. You need an assistant. I got, like, 5 out there. You need at least 1.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're trying.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not doing all the sandblasting anymore. That was another job that I was doing.
Well, I do all the actual sandblasting, but she was laying on all the photo masks, which is how we transfer an image onto pieces when we're sandblasting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So if you're a photographer in Colorado Springs, let us know. Hit us up.
Photographer, if you're someone who has done maybe shipping or customer service stuff.
Someone that's familiar with like photographing glass.
Administrative work.
Yeah.
We're definitely interested in hearing from some people. We're going to try and...
Shipping, all that. That would be all helpful things. Yeah.
So what would you say is the hardest part about your job, even though like people only see what I'm doing, but there's like all these other people in the background, including you, that are doing like moving massive stones and stuff. Like, what would you say? Is it just overall balancing the amount
I think so.
Of different
Yeah,
jobs?
I think
it's
it's basically what. Yeah, exactly.
You got a bunch of hats on.
I wish that I had like.
Whoa, plant.
I wish it's like, not that I want less jobs, but I wish I had less jobs.
You're just overwhelmed.
You know? Yeah, I'm constantly overwhelmed, like on the brink of like jumping off that cliff. Like I'm always like, oh my gosh, this is too much. Like I can't do it all.
Healthy.
What am I doing? But I'm always pushing, and
That's how you know you're living.
Going. Yeah.
That's how you know you're living.
You're
looking over the cliff's edge, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy.
And it's like, it's something new every day, and we all have things that we're dealing with, but it can be incredibly overwhelming because I have more things going on than just Bear Mountain and the business. Like I have...
There is nothing but Bear Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. I have this house in New York been trying to figure out what to do with for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
There's
Family
a lot of
stuff's
things.
stressful.
Yeah.
You know, that's life, though. Don't we all got them? You know, and the people that don't have family, they're like, I wish I had family. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't really feel like we have family like that, though, because we don't have any family in the state.
No, we don't have anyone within 2,000
So we're just dealing with, like, family bullshit and drama from afar, which
Yeah.
can sometimes be more difficult because you can't just be there to handle something right then and there. Like, it's more drawn out and, yeah.
Yeah, we moved far away for a reason, though. We're like, we need to be far away. Far, far away from all the drama.
That is true.
Yeah. But to me, it's like, it's so easy for me to go back in that headspace when I was a dishwasher or a cart pusher or working for a paint company. Like,
It's what I don't understand is, like, when we were working those really shitty jobs, driving our really shitty cars, how we had no money, but we had time.
well, that's kind of one of the trade-offs. Like, I think that some people that try to like generate like wealth and stuff are looking to buy like more time or to have all this time and to have freedom because of wealth. And then there's like people who like truly like hate the idea of capitalism or wealth because it like consumes so much of your time.
It does.
So I think like anything, there's extremes on both ends, and the coolest thing about being human is like you can do all of it and balance it into your own equation where you're able to experience many lives at once in like a healthy, productive, creative way. But I think overall, like we often tend to fall into the extremes. You know, like
We do.
this person is extreme this way. Like I'm extreme in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah,
Like,
I think we both
I'm
are.
no middle ground. I'm either all or not.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm extreme in the fact where, like, I don't deal with any bullshit and everything needs to be perfect 100% of the time.
yeah, yeah. Which makes us kind of a unique mix for like running this little glass art business we got here together.
Yeah, but we're definitely both extremes, but total opposite extremes.
Honestly, I thought you were like a reflection. I was a reflection of you. You're a reflection
I
of
don't
me.
think so.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Either way, yeah, I've never met anyone like you. You're quite interesting. Oh, I didn't put a pearl in there. It's still going to be fine.
Can you fix it?
You know, there's nothing to be fixed. That's truly, I can add to it. I can contribute more to it.
What does that even mean?
Well, it means that it's going to work just fine, or I could add a pearl in right now and contribute more to the experience. There's a rattle, there's a spin. Like, you know, I'm just trying to use words in a different way where it's more positive, you know. We're this part of the podcast. You don't watch my podcast. You haven't been here.
I haven't watched it in a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Like at least 2 years.
Oh, definitely. I heard that from a couple people at our recent events. I was like, thanks for telling me. Thanks for telling me, bro. Sounds good.
Oh, no. Well, maybe they'll feel more intrigued to watch it now. That'll be a little bit more, like, pleasant to the eye.
Oh, definitely. But either way, like, I think it's like for a couple years there was some times where I was so tired, so down. I mean,
I honestly, I filmed that first episode with you, and then I did a second one, and the second one was, like, right after the pandemic started. And, like, I just, like, couldn't get out of this weird, funky headspace where, like, I just, like, couldn't do it.
Yeah, you were bummed.
I was,
you
like,
sad.
super sad, and, like, I just, like, couldn't do it.
We kept all of our guys employed through the entire pandemic.
Yeah.
We kept everyone busy.
That was nuts. I honestly can't believe we were able to do that.
We kept shit positive. There was literally Sunday sales where we would sell the glass and the entire Sunday sale would just go to everybody's paychecks.
I know.
We'd be like, all right, we're not getting paid. We're paying the guys.
I also think that, like, having a kid makes you fucking... It just, like, gets you into gear. It gets you moving. Because you're not just responsible for yourself.
For sure.
Now you're responsible for this kid and their future.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we work so hard now, or at least I know that's a lot of why I work so hard now, is because I want to make sure that she has the opportunities that I didn't have.
I explain that to people super simple, but I don't really ever do it too much on here. I get way too deep on here usually. But when people ask me in person, like, oh, what, like, how do you stay so motivated? I don't know how you crush like that, bro. And I just say one word. I go, fear.
Fear. It is.
Fear.
It really is fear.
Fear of failure. Fear of seeing my daughter go, Daddy, I really want to go to the roller skating ring with my friends. And I go, I'm sorry, honey, I can't afford roller skates. Let me tell you about when your daddy used to be popular. He used to make some cool stuff and people liked him.
Yeah.
I have a terrible fear of not being relevant so people don't see my artwork. Like, a fear of just like not being able
I think
to provide.
that's what, fuels us
Like-
going so hard. So it is fear.
Like, yeah, but that's like the realest shit ever though. It's like, yeah, dude, it's like I have no control over anything, but like if I crush hard enough, I could hopefully mitigate the pain that life naturally brings. You know?
And I mean, we've seen our parents struggle so much,
Oh
and
my
it's
god,
like
yeah. Our grandparents, parents,
everybody, and it's like
brothers, sisters,
I don't
everyone.
want Estelle to have to deal with
There's
that.
not one person where I grew up in our family can you think of that has money.
No.
Like if anything, like I don't know what people are gonna do in a few years. Like I'm like there's
It's scary.
it's fucking scary.
And I think that's part of the fear too, right? Is like not only did our parents not be able to provide those opportunities for us, but are we going to be able to take care of them in the future? Because I don't know if they can do it themselves. And I don't want to ever put our daughter in a situation where she needs to make sure that we're going to be okay.
Not that anyone does that shit on purpose, though. Life happens.
No,
so,
life is fucking hard.
So crazy. Like, people do their best and it just still goes sideways. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, you can't say, I'll do X, Y, Z, and then this is what the day will look like.
Know. No, and it never works that way. I always am like, today I'm going to be so productive. Everything's going to be great. And then I get like an email or a phone call and I'm like, okay, sweet. So just set that aside for another day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm dealing with this.
Well, we really do generate our own realities. You know what I mean? Like, we all are our own little universes living simultaneously next to each other. We all see the same sky, but we have a different perspective of what that sky means to us that day.
Totally.
We are all these little filters that are just taking in information and outputting what our interpretation of reality. So it's very, very strange. I saw this really like interesting it was like some like Buddhist proverb or something where they were talking about like why people scream at each other while they fight. Like,
that's interesting. Yeah, it's like it's just like something that just happens.
You're right next to each other. Why are two people who are in love with each other screaming while they're fighting? And this like old
it's almost like because you feel like that person's not hearing you.
Well,
like you're not listening.
The idea is though is even though their physical bodies are close, in that moment their hearts are so far apart that they have to scream to make up the distance so they can communicate. Like it's I don't know.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
actually.
there's a lot of like fun like old sayings like
it's like you could be right next to each other, but it's like you're not hearing my perspective, and it creates.
Have
that
you
distance.
ever heard the one that's like a old Chinese farmer's proverb? But it was about so there's this whole idea. This is like you don't know like something's bad until give it time. Just because something happens, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Just because Paramount Studios had to relocate and all these things that happened.
And it felt so heavy.
So heavy, the worst thing ever.
It felt so heavy at the time. And now it's like, oh my gosh, this is what we needed.
So
I
love you. I love you so much. So here's the proverb. So this Chinese farmer, he has a son. His son breaks both his legs. The people in the town are like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry this has happened to your son. And the farmer goes, well, I don't know if it's bad yet. I don't know if this is a bad thing. I'm going to wait.
Okay.
A couple of days later, military men come to the town and recruit all men of age to go to war. All these young men go to war.
Except for the son that has
Except for the son with the two broken legs. All these young men go to war and die. And his father said, this is why I wait, because you don't know if it's good or bad yet. Yes, you just broke both your legs. Wait. You don't know. The world isn't ending. Your world isn't ending. Yeah. You don't know.
It's like the same concept as everything happens for a reason.
For sure. And everything happens for a reason is a real thing because our perception of reality is super powerful. Like, if you believe something thoroughly, it can become your reality.
You can manifest that shit.
Literally. And it's not some, like, woo-woo thing where it's like, oh, manifest and the universe goes your way. It's like, no,
You have to manifest it in your head and then work towards it.
I'm talking in so much more, like, physical sense where we're literally filters. And we can genetically manipulate our perception of reality by thoroughly believing in something. That's one of the most powerful things with consciousness and imagination is having the ability to take your reality and start seeing like what you believe is going to be real. And now there's a spectrum there. There's a slippery slope. You can be delusional and start believing you can fly.
You're fucking Superman.
You jump off a building and die or something. But I more mean like for years I told people, hey, someday Paramount Studios, I'm going to have this big studio with a whole crew of people, and it's going to be a place where other artists can come and we can learn together.
Well, I think that's kind of what I meant. Like, you can manifest it in your head, and then you can create that path that you follow to get there.
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
It's like you create these goals. You're like, this is something I can see us doing. This is something I can see myself doing. And then, like, how do I get there?
Gosh, it all sounds so easy, and very motivational when you talk about it, but realistically,
it's not easy though.
The last 11 years, there were so many like huge chunks of just very dark and sad and tough times where like
definitely
it's like fuck it all, like so like when you hear someone talk about their story and you're like, oh dude, I'm motivated, I want to go do that, like
it's not gonna all be good.
Use that to be motivated, but understand that it's like it's only gonna feel like real and motivating if you went through those times where like
absolutely
it was the worst.
Yeah.
And actually I hope people don't. It'd be sick if someone just tried it and it all worked out. First try, boom, done.
But that's not life.
First
like,
quarter,
that's not
we're done.
Part of the journey. That's not the experience.
Yeah.
Like it has to be hard for it to feel good in the end. You know what I mean?
Because
I feel like if you get there without the struggle, like it's not going to feel like that same reward as it would if you worked your ass off and got through all the hard times.
Well, yeah, there's no light without dark. There's no good without bad. Like, that's all tied in. Well, man, fun episode, honey. Thanks for doing this.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Well, like I said, everybody, we have a Sunday sale coming up, February 18th. I believe, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Go to bmsclass.com, sign up for that newsletter. That way you get emails about it. We still have people that will participate in the drops, and they'll click on it. They'll be like, I didn't see the glass. And I'm like, you got to click on it.
Patreon also gets early access so that people understand that. So any drop we do, our Patreon members always get early access to that drop. So if you have your eye on a specific piece and you don't see it on a Sunday sale, it's probably because somebody from Patreon scooped it before the drop.
So if we're doing a big drop coming up, just know that like if you want to have access for a little bit prior to the public release of everything, you just got to join the Patreon.
Yeah, it's $5. It's pretty simple.
And we do giveaways and stuff. Like we give away like 2 to 4 pieces a month on there. So like people are winning pieces left and right. Like people.
And Evan also does lives during the drops with Patreon members to kind of show them the pieces that we have available, function, things like that. So you'll get the exclusive lives. You'll get the to be entered into the monthly giveaway. And then I think we're also going to start trying to do like an extra 15 minutes of the podcast after the podcast episode that will go to Patreon.
Yeah, like a special little coffee break where we're just going to be me and Cass or me and someone else.
Yeah.
They'll be Patreon only. And we'll play around with some of those ideas too. But thanks so much, everybody. This is episode 141 of the What's Up Everybody podcast. And this was sick. I'm excited to go work today now. This was very fun.
Awesome.
And it was fucking super awesome talking to you like I do every day of my life.
I feel like we do have like these deep conversations daily.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really feel much different.
But it's like getting you comfortable enough to get there too.
I think it's more time.
Yeah.
It's like, I was basically late.
Yeah. Whatever. All right, guys. Have a great day. Later, everybody.
Bye.